Have you ever looked at your neighbor's home sale and thought, wait, how did they get more for their house than I did for mine, even though we're on the same street? This happens all the time, and it's not just in Kitsap County, but it's everywhere. And you know what? It usually has nothing to do with luck. I'm Nikki Shelton, and I am keeping it real, and we're going to have a real talk today about why some homes sell for different prices. So the first thing I want to do is I want to address that number you look up online. And you know which one I'm talking about, you guys. That home value is not a fixed number, and it's definitely not something an online estimate can fully define. Those automatic valuation models are based on data, the square footage, the past sales, general location. But here's the thing they don't know: your actual home in its current condition. They're a starting point. They're not a final answer. And making decisions based on that number alone is one of the most common mistakes that I see sellers make. So let's talk about how us real estate professionals do this, okay? So, yes, we do use homes that are as close as we can find to where your home is at. But then what we do is we try to find homes. They can't just be any home. They have to be a similar home to the, like, build wise, right? So, I mean, I won't be comparing a one bedroom to a multi-story or a one bedroom to a two-story. It just doesn't work that way. So we need to find, I mean, I can't compare like an apple to an orange, right? So it has to be like an apple to an apple. Think of it that way. Then after we have that, then we can start kind of making adjustments for some of the other properties of the home or features of the home. So for instance, like if one has a larger square foot, one of them has a larger lot size, more bedrooms, more bathrooms. If there have been a bunch of upgrades in one versus the other one. So we're comparing those. And also the other thing we're doing is we're looking only at sold homes. For instance, you cannot base what you're selling your house on one that's active. So like if your neighbor's house is for sale and you're going to put yours up for sale, you can't just randomly take that sales price and think that's what it's going to be, because you don't know what it's sold for yet, because the market dictates what it is, right? So anyway, that's what we do. We have to use closed on location, or same location, same kind of property, and then we can make some adjustments for some of the other features. So that's how we land on the real market value. And it's not a guess, it's not an algorithm, and it's a professional analysis of what buyers are actually paying for homes like yours right now. And so here's some of the biggest things that you can change, though, is the condition of your home. That's one of the things you can actually sometimes change. You can't change the location. So you have really two things that you can control, and that would be the condition and the price. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. So here we go. So even within the same neighborhood, let's talk about conditions. The condition can change everything. So when buyers are looking at homes on the market, I mean, they're comparing like a price range, right? They have a price range and they're kind of like, okay, these are all kind of falling within the same ones. And so if one of them has like a brand new roof and the other one doesn't have a brand new roof, well, does the one with the brand new roof stand out more than the one that doesn't have a brand new roof? If you're a buyer, think about it. So they're going to be comparing things like that. Does one of them have updates like new flooring, or has it been newly painted? Is there new kitchen cabinets in? Has it been updated? All those things make a massive difference when you're comparing homes. So two homes can have the exact same square footage and be on the exact same street, but feel completely at a different value to a buyer. And here's the one thing sellers never see coming. It's the smell. And I've done some broadcasts before in the past about this, and smell is the number one reason that buyers will walk away. So if you walk into almost two identical homes and one of them smells like your pet and one of them doesn't, chances are, unless the person really likes the smell of your pet, they're probably going to choose the other home because it has a higher value, right? I know. Anyway, it's a true thing. But it can also be things like moisture or cigarette smoke or whatever. So that really drops the value even before, you get to that point. Okay. So some of the other things that matter. So they don't just look at numbers either. I mean, and the smell isn't everything. It could be natural light. It could be how the layout goes, if it's a nice flow or not. It could be if there's open spaces, because a lot of people like open floor plans. How about the direction that the home faces? or even the layout. And one, you know what? And the layout, one person might actually love how houses laid out, and the next person could absolutely hate it. When people, a lot of people hating it, guess what? That home value is probably going to go down. And then you have your pricing strategy. And you guys, timing, it does kind of matter. I mean, it depends. Okay. So if you're, I mean, if you have to move, you have to move it. And it doesn't matter really what you're going to do. There's still going to be buyers out there. But like, for instance, winter to spring, obviously winter, a lot of people really don't want to move during that time because it's, they're doing other things and it's cold and it's rainy and it's yucky outside. So people aren't going to want to move then, versus spring where everybody's kind of going to get ready for planning for the next school year kind of thing. So that actually, gets busier. So demand will definitely affect your pricing as well too. So when the demand is high, obviously the pricing is going to be aligned a little bit more highly with what's going on. And if there's multiple offers, again, that's going to be another factor to keep doing it. The opposite could happen though, is if you price it incorrectly, like you overprice it, right? So this is the thing here. So I'm gonna give you a little tip here. So there's like about 4 different people in a or 4 different people of prices in the transaction, right? You have what the seller thinks, and the seller always thinks their house is the best. And you love your home, so I get it. But they're always high. Then you have your buyer who always thinks it should be lower because they don't want to pay that much. And then you have your broker who comes in and does the valuation. And then you have your appraisal who works for your bank. So everybody has a different opinion of the price. And at the end of the day, it all kind of comes to what the market value is, right? Because that's the true value, is the market value. So anyway, if you don't price it right and you price it too high, you decide to go with, let's say the seller says, oh, I want to price it at this point. And you're like, well, it should be here. And the numbers are suggesting here, and you price it higher. And it sits there because a lot of people think that, well, this is what a lot of sellers think. They think that if they price it higher, the buyer's going to walk through and say, oh, I don't want to pay that price. I'm just going to give them a lower offer. There's some buyers that will do that, will give a low offer. But it's not a really good strategy a lot of times. Especially if it's priced right and stuff like that. It could be something's wrong with it. The best thing to do is price it correctly, because that is going to probably get you the most buyers. And a lot of buyers are just going to walk away. They're not going to say, oh, I don't want to offer lower than what they're asking because there must be a reason. I just can't afford it. I don't want to spend that much money for it. And they're just going to walk away, and you're going to lose those buyers. So it's really important to price correctly. Okay. And so if you do overprice it and it sits there, then what happens is people start wondering what's wrong with the house and why didn't it sell? Because everybody else is selling within like 2 weeks. Why isn't yours selling within 2 weeks? And buyers are actually really well informed today. And so they already kind of know what the general price range is before they even walk in the door. So when a home feels overpriced, like I said, they don't come in with a lower offer. They just simply move on. And that momentum is very hard to recover from once it's lost. Okay, so finally, the reality check here. Let's go through this. So as your real estate broker, my job isn't to tell you what you want to hear as a seller. And it isn't to guess a number, but it's to look at the real sales, current competition, and your home's condition and buyer behavior. And then position your home so that it attracts the most interest possible. Because there are only 2 ways to price a home. And it's either to sit on it on the market or to sell it. And guess what? I always want to sell it. So let's go ahead. If you are wondering how your neighbor got more, now you know. And it comes down to condition. How the home is priced using real data, and how it feels to a buyer, and the strategy behind getting it to the market at the right time and the right price. Understanding the difference is where sellers start making better decisions and getting better results. So if you're thinking about selling or buying a home in Kitsap County, I'd love to sit down with you, and I would love to do a real market analysis, not an online estimate, a real conversation about specific data and what strategy would get you the best possible outcome. Reach out to me at nickishouses.com and you can drop a comment below. I will get back to you personally. I'm Nikki Shelton, keeping it real. Hit that follow button so you never miss an episode, and I will see you next week.